Hello there, my name is Linda, also known as Tortagialla around the internet, and I'm a designer who loves traditional journaling and all things paper and stationery. So today I am continuing on with my little sort of stationery audit slash decluttering efforts, and I decided to swatch all of my washi tapes. So this is one area of my stationery collection where I truly do feel that I don't have that much. I think it's because I don't know. I don't really use washi tapes that much. I don't create a lot of like borders in my page and things like that, how washi tapes might be traditionally used in journals. And some people use it for their planning with like the skinny washi tapes and things, but I just don't have that habit. So even though I really do love a lot of different designs, I often buy them because I think it's cute, but I like don't even know how to use them. And I also have this thing where I feel like sometimes when you use something a lot, it just starts to get old. And the nature of washi tapes, I mean, there's a whole roll. There's a lot of meters to go through. So I don't know how it is people are able to like use up their rolls that quickly. I do like creating like the washi tape dashboards that I've seen here on YouTube. I think Doxino is the one that started it, or that I've seen created, where basically she uses a bunch of washi tapes and creates like a diagonal or a stripe and covers like a whole spread. So that I do like, and I probably should do that to use up my washi tapes. But what I decided to do was, if you watched my previous video where I share my hoard of notebook collection, I am basically jumping in and starting to use all of my notebooks. Like, stop overthinking and just always pondering like up all in my head about things, and just dive in and use the supplies, do something, take action, right? So I got one of my paper O notebooks, and the first one I opened was lined, so that's why I opened another one that was actually, it's a blank A6 notebook, and it has really nice paper. I have yet to try it in terms of like fountain pens and things like that, but it's definitely good quality. It's not too thin or anything, and I'm just going to use it for swatching my washi tapes. So you can see here I have like a little cardboard box tray kind of thing, holding my various washi tapes, which are obviously not very organized. But I started picking through them and putting them in groups of how I might want to swatch them, in terms of more or less like groups of when I bought them, or sort of in timeline. It's not exact because I don't remember every single time that I bought one washi tape, but because I don't have any local to me stationery shops, I'm often buying washi tapes online. And more often than not, I'm buying like a whole bunch at a time, because maybe there's a collection I saw and it's like so cute and I couldn't resist, or it's like a set of some sort. The first ones that I swatch are definitely sets, I believe, from like Amazon, which, by the way, I'm trying to stray away from ordering those kinds of like stationery things from Amazon, because I'm realizing that they all come from, like anonymous sources, and you don't really know who the artist is. Like, it's a little bit like less satisfying from like a stationery standpoint, in the sense that I think it would be nicer to order from independent artists, where like you actually know them and you're ordering from their shop and you're directly helping them. But I understand like the how enticed you are to order sometimes sets and things like that, because they're so much more affordable. I remember ordering these where it's like a green set and like a blue set of washi tapes, and obviously they all coordinate because they're color like sets, and it was not expensive. You know what I mean? And they're perfectly fine washi tapes. These they don't have any problem with like sticking, because sometimes cheaper washi tapes, they might not actually like stick very well. The glue or the adhesive is like just badly made, or it might be because through storage, heat, cold, like that kind of thing, they get sort of messed up, which is why you probably shouldn't hoard washi tape and really try to use as much of it as possible. And I know there are people who are collectors. If you collect something, obviously you're buying it for a different reason. But I definitely want to use my things. So this set of like green washi tapes, I have used them on a dashboard before, and I still have plenty, on the roll. So I probably should make more dashboards for my notebooks and planners, and just try to get through. Although I know that sounds really weird too, because just because you have supplies, it doesn't mean that you should just casually, carelessly, or like just use them without meaning. You know what I mean? So I don't mean to quote unquote waste. And that word is very loaded in a sense, because there are people who are like, oh my gosh, you're doing XYZ, and that's very wasteful. And there are other people who are like, what does it really mean? I mean, I know that there are blatant examples of waste, but at the same time, when you're using something and it serves you in some way, sometimes it might seem wasteful to someone else, but it isn't to you, if that makes sense. I mean, think about an artist who uses like a lot of paint or art supplies. Not all of the art supplies like end up on, let's say, a traditional painter, like end up on a canvas that is sold and like, comes back to you in that type of sense. But they do a lot of, sketches, they do a lot of experimentations, paint might dry out. They're using the paint, but there obviously is also waste, if you know what I mean. I think that applies to everything, right? And of course, our stationery love is also a hobby. And some people might be like, oh my gosh, hobbies, it's all waste because, you don't need it, or do you? Because, we have to have our own ways of coping and enjoying our lives. And what is the point of life in the end if you're not doing things that you love, or you're not able to, indulge in things that you want to indulge in. Anyways, that's like a whole other conversation. But you can see that I am just swatching all of my washi tapes and then putting them, like I took them all out, and then once I swatch it, I put it back in the tray so I don't get mixed up. And I'm just leaving like a little bit of room after each washi tape, because I will number them after the fact. But I'm not being very precious. Obviously sometimes it's like a little crooked and I'm just ripping the washi tape so it's not like perfectly cut. Obviously everyone can do this in the way that they see fit. Some people are very precise with like cutting their washi tape and making sure everything is straight, and some people will definitely swatch like a whole what do you call it, revolution, or no, like a whole loop, right? So you see all the designs in the washi tape before moving on to the next washi tape. But I am not doing that. I'm just doing a little snippet basically. And this is not necessarily meant as like a guide for me to know what washi tapes I have, because I don't have that many, so it's not that confusing. It's literally in one tray, one drawer. But it can serve as like a record, of the washi tapes that I have owned, used, and at some point, they're all used up, so you're not going to have them anymore, except for this little swatch, and obviously amongst your journals and stationery and that kind of thing. I did contemplate, like, I do have a lot of samples, things that I have gotten from friends and pen pals, and also I've bought, like, sample, like, loops of washi tape as well, so I'm not sure if I should swatch that or not, but I also don't know where they are, or I might have used a bunch of them during the summer, because when we were traveling, I brought all those washi cards, because it's just a lot more convenient than bringing like rolls of washi. And you can see I only have a few washi tapes that actually have like a backing to them, but I guess they're still considered washi tapes. Otherwise, all of them are on actual little rolls. And the final set of washi tapes you see me swatching here, they're all from Pen Paling Paula. I found her like on Instagram, started following her and started buying her washi tapes, and I have a whole bunch. I probably have the most from her in terms of like an indie designer as opposed to like, you know, other bigger manufacturing brands and stuff. I just think they're super, super cute. Actually, the ones I'm swatching right now in the video are from an Italian designer, and I cannot remember her name, but I will try to include links in the description. And here, this is like my one and only Traveler's notebook washi tape. They're hard to find, you know, if you're not from Japan or willing to pay like a really high price, because a lot of the stuff from Traveler's notebooks, they're just, because they're collectibles and things like that, there's this whole culture around it. There's a lot of people doing, like, there's a lot of not store resellers, like people, resellers that are just jacking up the prices. And that, again, is a whole other conversation about Traveler's notebooks and how the pricing of things get really crazy. But yeah, I just have that one that I bought like from a shop, so it wasn't like that. It wasn't like exorbitantly priced, but that's the only one I have. And then I have these couple that I got in the summer when we were traveling, and now these are the ones from Pen Paling Paula, and she is a mom who has like a stationery business where she has stickers and postcards and stationery and washi tapes and related, you know, just all stationery things, because obviously it all comes back to pen paling, which is in her, you know, name. And you can find her on Instagram, and she has a website. So I have a bunch of her washi tapes because they're so cute. She has one that is like Traveler's Notebook, Superior Label, like kind of illustrations, which is very cool. And just a variety of different designs that you can choose from. And I also find them to be, like, they're very affordable compared to, you know, many other brands and things. Like, I think sometimes when we buy Japanese or Taiwanese or from another country brands, obviously the prices are more expensive than what it would cost someone in the country to get it, because for them it's like a regular stationery item, but for us it's like an import. And then for a lot of indie designers, they obviously are not ordering that many when they produce washi tapes, so like the prices are higher. But I find that Pen Paling Paula, like, she's able to get them at a pretty reasonable price. So here I am going through with all the swatches that I've done, and I have, if I counted correctly, around like 70. So it's really not that much, like under 100, woohoo. I don't know if that's something to be happy about. Of course, I have not swatched loops or samples and things like that, so I might add those in just because I want to keep them in this little notebook as a record, which I think is just a really fun way to use one of your notebooks, is to just keep a record of a certain type of like stationery material or a certain type of thing, and you'll just have a record of it over the years of like all the ones that you've gone through. So you can see here I have some like washi tape samples, and I have more elsewhere, but I need to find them. So this is my washi tape sample notebook. I hope you enjoyed watching me go through my very small collection. It's small, right? So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. As always, like the video and comment below, like, how many washi tapes do you have? Do you have 0 or do you have a whole lot, right? Again, you can find me on Ko-fi if you like digital printables, and you can become a member there to download exclusive printables. I also have free printables on my website, tortagialla.com. And as always, I appreciate your support. Thank you again. Until next time. Bye.